Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. Today I'm up to song number 2508, and that one is Norman by Sue Thompson. And this song was released in 1961, late in 61, and it peaked on Billboard at number 3 early in 1962. And it was also released on her debut album entitled Meet Sue Thompson, which came out in 1961. And here's a picture of Sue Thompson around the time she recorded it. Very beautiful woman, I think, and also very good singer. I'll get to her into her in a minute. First, I want to talk a little bit about the song Norman. It's one of those kind of typical early '60s kind of teenage crush songs, I think. There were a lot of songs like that in the early 60s about, girls, teenage girls who were hung up on a boy. And, I guess Norman's just kind of one of them. She has a boyfriend, steady boyfriend named Norman, and all these other guys are interested in her, but she brushes them all off because she's going steady with Norman. And, she won't give in for anyone else. That's pretty much all the song's about. Kind of a typical attitude at that time, I'd say. But I want to say a little bit more about this song. It was written by a very famous singer and songwriter named John D. Loudermilk. He actually had many big hits. He was mostly known for his songwriting. I guess he did sing also, but I don't think he had any really big hits on his own. But I'll just tell you some of the big hits he wrote for other artists. In 1961, he wrote a song called Ebony Eyes for the Everly Brothers. That went to number 8 in the United States, number 1 in England. Not to be confused with Ebony Eyes by, who was the other artist that did that in the late 70s? Bob Welch. Not the same song. But anyway, and then he had a song called Tobacco Road, which was a big hit for the Nashville Teens, a British invasion band in 1964. That's a song I really like. A lot of these are coming up on my list, by the way. He also had a big hit in 1967 called Then You Could Tell Me Goodbye, which was a hit for a group called the Casinos in 1967. Interesting song because it sounds like kind of like a swing era song, even though it was from '67. It almost sounds like a pre-rock song, but it's a beautiful song. Uh, and then I think his most well-known hit was "The Lament of the Cherokee Nation," better known as Indian Reservation. This was first a hit for Don Farden in 1968, later for the Raiders, formerly Paul Revere and the Raiders in 1971. Excellent song about basically how the Native Americans, the Cherokees, were exploited throughout our history. Anyway, that one's also coming up much higher on my list. Those were just some of his big hits, and I guess another one was this song Norman that he wrote for Sue Thompson. And now I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Sue Thompson. She didn't have a lot of hits. I mean, she was a popular sort of pop and country artist in the I guess in the early mostly the early '60s, and she was born in a town called Nevada, Missouri in 1925, and she died. She lived to be 96 years old. She died in Pahrump, Nevada. I don't know what she was doing there in 2021, and I guess she died at her daughter's home. And I don't know if you guys realize I live about 75 miles from Pahrump. I live in Las Vegas. Pahrump is mainly known for its brothels. I don't know what else is in Pahrump. But anyway, enough said about that. I'm just going to go through Sue Thompson's hits now. So when her first hit was in 1961, that was called Sad Movies Make Me Cry. That one went to number 5. She followed that up early in '62 with the one I featured today, Norman, which went to number 3. Later that year, she had Two of a Kind, which went to 42. Have a Good Time, which went to 31. James Hold the Ladder Steady, which went to 17, and Willie Can, which went to 78. Finally, in 1964, she had a song called Paper Tiger, which went to number 23. So those were the only hits for Sue Thompson. I mean, I've only heard a couple of these songs. The only one I know besides Norman is Paper Tiger, which is a pretty good song, even though it didn't make my list. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about Norman by Sue Thompson. So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.